So I have 3 rolls of film to develop today. I need to mix up the chemistry because I don't have any mixed up. So that's what we're going to start with, and then I'm going to develop these. I have a Kodak Gold 200, KodaColor 200, and Cinestill 400D. The gold and Cinestill were done in my Canon AE-1, and then this was a test roll in Pentax Epsio 120, which I need to clear out this drawer. I just got this little point and shoot, and I was just trying it out. So I'm like, I hope I did it right. Hopefully something is on this. Those of you who've seen me develop before, I got the correct storage this time. And I also have gotten myself a color stabilizer because I didn't have that before. And it's not like needed, but it's needed. So I got that. And I got distilled water this time. So I'm learning from the mistakes last time. I will make mistakes this time, but we will continue to get better. That's what it's all about, right? I just wanted to say that this is like by no means a tutorial. I am still learning and still making a lot of mistakes. However, if you do this at home, make sure to be a lot safer than I am. Wear a mask, wear gloves, clean everything off. As you can see, well, actually, I don't think I videoed it, but between every single step, I'm washing everything in the sink. But here you just see me mixing up the developer. I measured out my water and I'm mixing it up, and then you will later see me fill it up the rest of the way with water. Then you see me put it back into the container that I got for it. This is a dark glass container to help prevent light. It's the exact measurement for the chemistry to prevent oxidization, all that good stuff. So then I labeled it. You know, of course, I don't want to get my developer and my Blix mixed up. But next you see me mixing up the first step of the Blix. Then the directions told me to put it into the container before I put in the second step. So I put it into my storage container, and then I poured in the second powder solution. And then it had it sit there for, I forget how long, but a few minutes to, this is like a chemical reaction, which is actually so cool. Make sure you don't breathe it in, take a step back, but it's really cool to see. And then it tells me to pour it back and forth in the containers for a little bit, I guess just to mix it up. So it's not specific on how many times, but I just kind of did it a few times and then mix it up before putting it back into the storage container and labeling it. Also, if anybody has any other suggestions for different types of developer that I should try, I don't know if the powder or the liquid is easier. I hear a lot of people use the powder, so I just kind of assumed that it was easier, but I really haven't done much research. So if anybody has any suggestions, I'm totally open to try new. So I started off by doing the Cinestill 400D, and I just did that one by itself because I wanted to make sure that the developer and everything was working correctly before I put more than one roll in. But as you can see right now, I'm just pouring in the developer. It's a super easy process. I have a big tub of water to keep it regulated, the temperature regulated. It's supposed to be at 102 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I just agitate it, do 4 agitations every 30 seconds for 3.5 minutes for the developer, and then 8 minutes for the Blix. And it's super easy. I don't know why everybody talks about like color developer being more difficult. I guess maybe just because it's not as good for you, but like, is any chemical good for you to breathe in? Let's be honest. As long as you have like the temperature control system, it's really not that difficult. So I just started off with the 400D and agitate it as directed. You can also see that the Blix gets kind of messy. I've heard other people say that their tubs or their developing tanks have a hard time. Even if it's closed all the way, it still spills the Blix, and it's because of the chemical reaction. So sit down a towel. I really liked the way a lot of these photos turned out. I thought that the colors were pretty. This house, literally, I feel like it looks like it should be in LA, but no, it's here in Georgia, which is kind of crazy. And then this North Beach picture, at first I really liked it, but the more I looked at it, the less I liked it. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that one. And then I had quite a few of just random things going on the beach. I did have this one photo, and then I think there was a few that had some light leaks, but this one photo turned out really weird, and I don't know what's going on, but I thought that I would include it just so that you guys can see. And then whenever I got home, I still had a little bit of film left to shoot, and so I was like, I'm just going to shoot it around my apartment, and I got this photo, and it is literally, it's just so scrumptious, and I love it, and it makes me, I want to shoot Cinestill 400 inside in a good natural lit interior because of this one photo, and just see how it looks. Recently, I've been trying to decide whether it's worth it to develop your own film. It's not a very common thing, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that it doesn't really matter. It's kind of a personal preference. Overall, you probably will save money if you develop your own film after the initial purchasing of the equipment. The temperature control system costs a bit more money, but overall, eventually, I think it will, if you develop often, it will pay for itself kind of, because the Cinestill powder kit costs $30 and you get 8 rolls of film out of it. But if you send it somewhere, it probably costs an average of about $10 per roll to get developed. Plus, you either have to, if you're lucky, you have a place local. But I know whenever I go home, the closest place that I have is over 2 hours away. So I either have to drive 2 hours or send it. And I don't like to mail my film because then you probably aren't going to get your negatives back. And it's just, I want my results immediately. So it kind of just depends on preference. If you develop it yourself, you're going to have a lot more room for error. But, it's a learning process like everything else. So next I have the KodaColorPlus, and they aren't my favorite. I loaded it in my camera thinking that it was going to be a super sunny day, and it actually ended up being really overcast, and it was just so dull outside, and so I feel I didn't give the colors much chance to stand out. So I'm definitely going to use that film again when it is a lot more vibrant outside. And then also this camera, like I said, I was testing it out. There was kind of this mark on the left corner in some of the pictures that I don't know what it is. I guess it's something on the lens, but I have to figure that out. And then I also didn't realize that the date was on. So some of them have the date on there and some of them don't, because every time that I would turn the camera off, it would reset itself. But then also it was the same thing with the autofocus. So every time that I would turn the camera off, the autofocus would turn off, and I didn't realize that until probably a majority of the way through the roll. So some of them were not being focused, and so I feel I didn't let the film shine through with the colors, and then they could have been a whole lot sharper than they are. Here I'm just hanging it up in my bathroom to dry. I just hang it with a clothes hanger above my shower, and then I squeegeed it. I'm not sure where that video went, but I squeegeed it to help it prevent water spots. Now we have the photos from the Kodak Gold 200. I took these back in my Canon, not the other camera. So these I actually really like. I love the way that the colors and the light is for the most part. A lot of them came out pretty sharp, which I kind of struggled to get some of my images in focus, so I'm happy that a lot of them came out in focus. And then the last two images, I honestly just really love. I love taking pictures of like beautiful buildings like that, and I like the compositions that I got and the colors, and once again, they're sharp, so I love these images.